November 24, 1918, two French warships carrying 78 men vanished into Lake Superior during a blizzard. No distress calls, no survivors, no wreckage ever found. This remains the largest loss of life in Lake Superior's history, and over 100 years later, these ships represent one of the most baffling maritime mysteries in North America. What really happened to the Inkerman and the Cerisoles?
It's as if those vessels just vanished off the face of the earth.
Welcome to Shipwreck History. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and help us get to 10,000 subscribers. The story of the Inkerman and the Cerisoles begins in the final months of World War I, when naval mines posed a deadly threat to merchant shipping. The French Navy needed vessels capable of clearing these underwater explosives from the English Channel and French coastline before normal shipping could resume after the war's end. France's shipyards had spent 4 years focused on combat vessels, leaving little capacity for specialized mine-clearing ships. The solution came from across the Atlantic. The Canadian company, Car and Foundry, based in Montreal with a major facility in Fort William, Ontario, had proven their steel working capabilities during the war years. French officials awarded them a contract to build 12 minesweepers, despite the company having never attempted shipbuilding before. Construction began in June 1918 with an ambitious 6-month deadline. Each Navarin-class minesweeper measured 143 feet in length with a 22-foot beam and displaced 630 tons when fully loaded. The vessels featured 4 watertight compartments, a crucial safety feature for ships operating in dangerous waters. The ships could achieve speeds of 12 knots and carried specialized equipment for their minesweeping missions. Canadian Car and Foundry named all 12 vessels after historic French military victories. The Battle of Inkerman was fought on November 5, 1854, during the Crimean War, while the Battle of Cerisoles was fought on April 11, 1544, during the Italian War. A third sister ship, named Sebastopol, was also built alongside the Inkerman and the Cerisoles. As vessels were completed, they departed Fort William in groups of 3 for the journey to Montreal, where the full flotilla would assemble before crossing the Atlantic together. The first 9 ships completed this voyage successfully between August and October 1918. Workers rushed to finish the final 3 vessels before winter ice closed the St. Lawrence shipping season. By November 1918, the war situation had changed dramatically. The armistice was signed on November 11, officially ending hostilities, but naval mines remained active in European waters. The French Navy still needed these specialized vessels to clear shipping lanes. Captain Marcel Leclerc, of the French Navy, arrived in Fort William to take command of the final 3 minesweepers, the Inkerman, the Cerisoles, and the Sebastopol. Leclerc understood both the urgency of the mission and the risks of late-season Great Lakes navigation. But delaying departure until spring would cost valuable months of mine-clearing operations in European waters. Leclerc made his headquarters aboard the Sebastopol while assembling crews for the other vessels. The French Navy provided a total of 76 sailors for the Inkerman and the Cerisoles, with 38 crew members assigned to each ship. Recognizing that European naval training had not prepared these men for Great Lakes conditions, Leclerc hired veteran Canadian Great Lakes pilots, Captain Wilson and Captain Murphy. These experienced mariners possessed crucial knowledge of Lake Superior's treacherous waters and seasonal weather patterns. The French crews spent several days in Fort William familiarizing themselves with their new vessels. These were the ship's maiden voyages. No one aboard had previous experience with their specific handling characteristics, engine performance, or stability in heavy weather. On November 23, 1918, the 3 minesweepers departed Fort William Harbor under Captain Leclerc's command. Sebastopol led the formation, while the Inkerman and the Cerisoles followed at prescribed intervals. The planned route would take them southeast across Lake Superior to Sault Ste. Marie, then continue through the remaining Great Lakes and down the St. Lawrence River to the Atlantic. The first hours of the voyage proceeded smoothly, but weather conditions began deteriorating as the ships entered Lake Superior's deeper waters. What began as manageable winds escalated into a November gale with wind speeds reaching 50 miles per hour, waves exceeding 30 feet, and snow reducing visibility to nearly zero. The storm's intensity created desperate conditions aboard all three vessels. Sailors on Sebastopol were forced to get life jackets and prepare lifeboats, as massive waves crashed over the ship. One crew member later described the terror. "We had to get out the lifeboats and put on life belts. The boat almost sank, and it was nearly goodbye to anyone hearing from us again." Water poured into Sebastopol's engine room, nearly extinguishing the coal fires that powered the ship. Captain Leclerc fought to maintain formation with the other vessels, but the combination of blinding snow and rough seas made visual contact nearly impossible. Around 1 a.m., on November 24th, the lights of the Inkerman and the Cerisoles disappeared completely. Leclerc assumed the other ships had simply been obscured by the storm conditions. His plan called for the flotilla to seek shelter in a protected inlet on the Keweenaw Peninsula. After losing helm control several times during the night, the Sebastopol finally reached safety as dawn broke, but the two other ships were nowhere to be found. Leclerc searched the small inlet thoroughly, expecting to find his missing vessels safely anchored, when one of the Canadian pilots turned to him and said simply, "They're gone." Radio attempts to contact the missing ships produced only static. On December 3rd, 10 days after the ship's departure, Canadian and American authorities launched search operations across Lake Superior. Coast Guard vessels scoured the areas where the ships had last been sighted, while aircraft flew search patterns over suspected routes. The search continued for nearly 2 weeks before being abandoned on December 15th. The only trace ever found was a small boat bearing the name Cerisoles, discovered on a desolate Michigan beach. The boat's oars remained unused, suggesting it had been torn from the ship rather than launched deliberately. The discovery was documented in an official December 10, 1918 report. Additionally, searchers found a few small items possibly linked to the ships, though their connection to the minesweepers was never definitively proven. The disappearance occurred during a period of wartime censorship, which fueled conspiracy theories. Some speculated that the ships hadn't sunk at all, but had passed secretly through the Sulaks on classified missions. The sealed orders French authorities had given each captain before departure has only added to the speculation. These theories gained traction because no bodies or wreckage were left behind. Maritime experts have proposed several theories for what happened to the vessels. The most widely accepted explanation involves broaching, where ships lose control and turn sideways to incoming waves, potentially leading to capsizing. Lake Superior's wave patterns can create conditions where even experienced crews can lose control of their vessels. Some investigators have questioned the ship's design stability, suggesting that mounted equipment may have affected their center of gravity and made them more prone to capsizing in heavy seas. Others point to the crew experience factor. These French sailors had trained for operations in European coastal waters, where conditions differ significantly from Great Lakes patterns. Another theory suggests that one ship became disabled during the storm, and the other attempted a rescue operation. In such scenarios, both vessels can be lost when rescue attempts fail in extreme weather conditions. There is also an unverified story that in 1934, fishermen reportedly discovered skeletons wearing remnants of what appeared to be French Navy uniforms. The fishermen claimed the remains bore identification tags, which they allegedly sent to authorities. But these tags disappeared, and no official records of this discovery exist. The authenticity of this account remains uncertain. Modern technology has brought new capabilities to solving the century-old mystery. Side-scanning sonar systems can map large areas of lake bottom with precision, while remotely operated vehicles can examine potential targets in deep water without risking human divers. In 2018, Michigan Technological University's Great Lakes Research Center organized a crowd-funded expedition, specifically targeting the Inkerman and the Cerisoles, to coincide with the 100th anniversary of their disappearance. In 2022, Discovery Channel's Expedition Unknown joined the search effort. Host Josh Gates worked alongside the Shipwreck Historical Society crew, using sonar equipment to investigate multiple underwater targets. The expedition discovered a wooden-hulled vessel in nearly 300 feet of water. But investigation revealed that it was the tugboat Satellite, which had been missing since 1879. These search efforts faced enormous challenges. Lake Superior covers 31,000 square miles, with an average depth of 483 feet, and maximum depths exceeding 1,300 feet. The lake's cold fresh water creates exceptional preservation conditions, but also means that vessels can remain hidden indefinitely in the depths. Weather conditions limit search operations to brief windows during summer months, and equipment failures in remote areas can end expeditions prematurely. The vast search area requires systematic coverage using expensive equipment over extended periods. The loss of the Inkerman and the Cerisoles represents the largest single maritime disaster in Lake Superior's recorded history, and they were also the last military vessels lost on the Great Lakes. Advanced search technology may eventually locate the missing minesweepers, but until then, they remain part of the lake's enduring mystery. This story demonstrates how even modern vessels with experienced personnel can vanish completely in Lake Superior's treacherous waters. Somewhere beneath the lake's dark depths, 2 ships and 78 souls await discovery. The search continues, driven by the persistent human need to solve mysteries that challenge our understanding of what Great Lake waters can conceal. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share, and let us know in the comments what shipwrecks you want us to cover next. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. And until next time, keep exploring.